First I started with a rose, just a simple sketch, put it in Photoshop, and then use the Wacom Cintiq that I have to make bold lines. Bold lines being the important feature here is when I trace it and use it with a plotter, I need something that's large. Once all the lines were finished, I imported it into Silhouette Studio. That's the software that came with my plotter, so I'm sure your mileage may vary, but it has a nice auto trace function, and it was easy for me to convert it into a vector that I could use with the plotter. Once I had that converted, I simply used the pen tool. I've got an adapter that uses any pen you want, really, and it comes in 3 sizes. It's also made by Silhouette, who makes my plotter, and as you can see, it did a nice job of converting my lines and putting them on paper. Yay! Once I had the lines on paper, it was pretty simple and straightforward to just go ahead and fill them in. So I tried to play this part as fast as I could, as I didn't want to bore you with me filling in black lines. Okay, once that was done, I removed just the outside line and can cut out a mask, if you will. This I was going to use with my blow pens, and as you can see, I laid it out and then flipped the paper over on a light table to make sure all the lines matched up, and then taped it in place. Then I masked off each individual area, and I first started with a dark green, and I used dark green for almost everything. Not just leaves, but the rose itself, as I figured the polar opposite or contrast of red is green, and it would work well for shading within the rose. As I go along, I put pieces in that I no longer wanted to shade or wanted to leave empty, and then taped over them. It was pretty straightforward, and this worked out a lot better than I anticipated, this being my first attempt at this. I did use light green on one rose petal because I wanted it to stand forward a little bit. I didn't want it to sink into the rest, and when they're all done here, you'll be able to see that result. For the final step, I used Touch 5 markers. They're alcohol markers, blend well, have a decent pigment load, and they're cheap. Cheap being the tentative word there. I used magenta and a light red, as well as a yellow for highlights, and 2 shades of green in the leaves. As you can see, it went nicely over the green shading that the blow pens provided, and overall I'm pleased with it. I tried to use the darker shade to create a little bit of depth, an illusion if you will. I didn't want it to be too flat. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've enjoyed the process.